Good morning. I'm Brad DeLong, and this is my morning coffee. Leadership. In a lot of conversations I have these days, people worry about the absence of leadership. People wish for a strong leader to lead America out of its current state, widely regarded as inadequate and muddled, in some direction, in the belief that action, strong action of some sort, strong action of the kind taken by Teddy Roosevelt or Franklin Delano Roosevelt or Harry S. Truman, has to be preferable to what they regard as current policies of avoiding big decisions about important issues and making wrong decisions about important issues on those rare occasions when decisions are made. I share this feeling that we lack leadership, and I see four reasons behind this current worry. The first is that we do in fact have leadership. We have in fact had a lot of leadership recently, but it's canceled itself out. It's led us in self-contradicting directions. For example, Bill Clinton carries us from the world of Reagan deficits, in which the federal government's obligations greatly outstrip its revenues, and the large burst of inflation and financial disruption that such a permanent condition would cause is on the horizon and coming much closer, to a world of balanced budgets and surpluses, and George W. Bush then carries us back again to a world in which we have to worry a lot about the deficit and about what its long-term consequences would be. George H.W. Bush and then Bill Clinton work for a peaceful world of free trade and an absence of tariffs and trade quotas in which the United States does the will of the Security Council in enforcing its mandates on regimes regarded as intolerable or aggressive. George W. Bush cares nothing for free trade, slaps on steel quotas, and his view of the Security Council is not something that I can put on a family website. Ronald Reagan takes office eager to ramp up the Cold War with the Soviet Union, burying victims of U.S. winked-at death squads beneath airstrips in Costa Rica, ramping up military spending, aggressively challenging the Soviet Union at every possible kind of corner. And yet, by the end of his administration, he is the most eager to embrace Gorbachev's attempt to reform the system, is telling everyone he meets that if only we could view everything in proper perspective, if there were an alien invasion, say, that was one of Reagan's favorite lines, then we would realize how small are the differences that divide people living on this world. So there has been a leadership. A great deal of it has canceled itself out. But there are three other reasons, three important things I think going wrong with our political system. The first is fundraising. It's not that there are huge amounts of money in politics relative to the scale of our economy, but it is the case that all politicians in our current system have to spend the bulk of their lives raising money, and thus obsequiously truckling to those from whom money might be raised. This doesn't tend to encourage leadership if you spend all your time eating, or a great deal of your time eating rubber chicken and agreeing with people. Second, ideology. The consequence of computer-aided gerrymandering has meant that the way to success in Congress, certainly, and habits acquired in Congress carry over, is to take out an ideologically strong position that agrees with the prejudices of the district that you and your computers have carved yourself. Ideological posturing does not tend to lead to leadership either. Third, we seem to have evolved a political system in which experience is a negative. Look back at who we've been electing as president recently. We did elect one person, George H.W. Bush, who had spent a lot of time in Washington, but he had the advantage of using the White House as a springboard, of already being in the White House when he ran for president the first time. Other than that, the people we've elected, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, you have to go all the way back to Gerald Ford, who wasn't elected, in order to find a president who had spent a lot of time in Washington and had a lot of governmental experience at the national level before being elected. Aside, I said, from George H.W. Bush, who had the advantage of having the White House as a springboard. All these things, I think, have led us into a situation in which we do have a genuine leadership deficit. I'm not going to end this on a happy note. I have absolutely no idea what can be done about it. But it is something that greatly distresses me as I look at the current administration's bizarre behavior and worry about how we're going to manage to fix things after 2008. I'm Brad DeLong, and this has been my morning coffee.